she was doing something nefarious.
I think, there are things we need to discuss, but I think we're fine.
All right, everyone. Whoa. We're going to get started here in a moment. Everyone find your seats. This mic is really hot today. Wow.
Let's see if you can do better than the last committee meeting.
I'm not going to jinx it. So I don't know if Madam Chair is coming in here or not. But okay, well, yeah. Are we ready to go? Are we recording and everything? Blair, we're good to
Yes.
go? Okay. Should probably
41 million.
call this meeting to order before I start breaking out into tunes from the Man of La Mancha. So the time being 10:50 a.m. on June 8th, 2022. I'd like to call this meeting to order of Kane County's American Rescue Plan Committee. Clerk, please call the roll.
Bates,
Bates here.
Brown,
Brown here.
Fraz,
Fraz here.
Gums,
Gums here.
Kenyon, Leonard,
Leonard here.
Martin,
Martin present.
Molina,
Molina present.
Strothman,
Strothman here.
and Tepe,
Jeppy here.
and Sanchez.
Sanchez here. Could someone please ask for unanimous consent to approve the minutes of April 27, 2022 and May 2nd, 2022?
So
So
moved.
moved.
I heard Gums first. Any objections, any corrections, changes to the minutes? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. Public comments on agenda and non-agenda items. Do we have anyone? Mr. Shepro?
I was just hoping that your reference to the play was not that this committee is dreaming the impossible dream.
No,
Or fighting windmills.
we are making the dreams real and actual in this committee. But who doesn't love the Man of La Mancha? All right. No public comments. I'm not hearing anything from anyone online or in person. Roger, nothing? Just as a member of the public. Okay, you were up here a lot today. I figured maybe. Let's go on to program manager update. Mr. Phillips, just fresh from vacation.
I am freshman vacation. No real updates other than prior to leaving for vacation, we did complete certification for our Q1 reporting with US Treasury. And since then, we have gotten some expense requests, which we have been vetting the last week with EY that we're going to begin processing as soon as finance is back full bore. So that's what I have. Any questions
for Mr.
anyone?
Phillips this month? Mr. Leonard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Phillips, what is our balance of unallocated ARPA money right now as of today? I cannot answer that off the top of my head, but I think we're going to have the figure available during our discussion today.
I could probably pull it up. We haven't really spent much money since the last time we looked at the
Yeah.
figure, and it was somewhere around 70 million that we had
The
left.
exact figure is, I think, 71 and
Mhm.
some change, give or take 1,000.
Yeah, we haven't sent
Thank
any
you.
expenses out yet, so yeah, that number is still good. Any other questions for Mr. Phillips?
Fraz.
Ms. Frost?
So the number you just said, so that was allocated but unspent, right? It's not unallocated.
Well, we have a spending plan now, so you could say that it's all allocated in some way, at least
We had the-
generally in categories,
We had
but
that like 10 or 11 million. I thought that was unallocated.
yeah, to be determined.
Yeah, to be
So
determined.
based on our spending plan, you could say it's allocated, but as far as like what we would be reporting to the treasury, that's
Right.
still,
So I just didn't want,
it's all still to be determined. We've got 42 million in department requests. That's not considered obligated yet. But yeah, so right now we're at about 70 million.
thank you.
I will, after the meeting, I will send the committee those figures just as an update.
Great. Any other questions, for Mr. Phillips? Okay, department request process, just to fill you in on where we're at. We started with having Ernst & Young create a spreadsheet that looks at all of the department requests and begins to categorize them. And they have put together a massive spreadsheet, and we are in the process of going through that. Last week, we had not only was Peter on vacation, but most of the members of Ernst & Young were also on vacation. So it was more or less a whole week we didn't work on that. So next week, we're going to be convening as a group to really hammer in on all of the expenditure categories and all the information in that spreadsheet, make it final. We'll send it out to you guys. And then from there, we'll begin a process of bringing forward multiple projects to this committee. Today is a bit of an exception, so we'll get to that in a little bit. But in general, we're going to wait until that entire spreadsheet is finalized and reviewed by not only us, Ernst & Young, but the state's attorney's office as well. And then we'll get rolling on those. I know there's a lot of department heads and elected officials that are waiting to hear back from us and get some money going to some good causes. So that is coming soon. And other than that, for the department request process, I don't have anything. Does anyone have any questions about that, or where we're at on that? Okay.
No.
All right.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, what's the timetable? Or is this something we're going to be able to do next month or this month or?
We will be beginning next month, definitely. We have, right now, we're still scheduled every other week. We've just kind of kept that there just in case we need it. So if we do convene in 2 weeks, we may be ready, but I would guess that we're not going to be ready in 2 weeks to get started. So look for that next month, definitely. Okay. Any other questions? All right. Nothing for other committee matters. So today we have 4 resolutions that are all coming from Water Resources Department. Ms. Wolnick, if you could approach the podium and just kind of talk us through this. I know there is some cause for speeding these projects up, a little urgency because of the amount of time it takes for these to get done and the reason we want to have them. So if you could kind of just give us the general overview of why we're seeing these here today. And then we'll go through these one at a time, I think, and have the discussion.
Certainly. Oh, is this on?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, maybe I have to get even closer. Thank you for evaluating these projects today. All 4 projects are part of the county's overall water supply planning efforts that include both of our unincorporated areas as well as our municipalities. These projects are key to our municipalities and their futures of their water supply and the decisions they make for their community to ensure a sustainable water supply. In addition, economic development on behalf of the county relies significantly on water supply and a maintainable water supply for any industries and businesses that are coming into our communities. Of the 4 projects, we're looking at both water quality and water volume available for our communities. In working collectively with our municipalities, we will be walking through with Illinois State Water Survey the water model that they currently have over our region to calculate actual water supply in our different aquifer systems. And these are our groundwater aquifer systems. These projects are important to move forward because of the fact that we are really limited on time. As the years go by, we have been trying to get funding for these projects to move forward our water supply planning efforts for over 10 years. And unfortunately, the funding was not available. So we currently have the model that is available at the state and the opportunity to have the funding that we can move these projects forward for our municipalities and enable them to make good decisions for their communities. Working with those municipalities, we will have them in the meetings starting at ground zero and be listening to the municipalities as to their concerns relative to their water supply, both quantity and quality. And then we will be providing them with the tools to enable them to make those decisions for their constituents. And I am available for any specific questions on any of the 4 applications.
Mr. Frost.
Speaking, my question on all 4 of these, so I assume these were in your internal requests.
Correct.
So we're staying within our budget and within our current plan.
Correct. The cost estimates were received directly from Illinois State Water Survey and Illinois Indiana Sea Grant, who we will be working with on the water conservation side of things.
Thank you.
Mr. Tepe.
Thank you. Ms. Strathman and I reviewed the, I believe it was 11 projects that were from the water department, and several of these particular projects, if they are not done, the municipalities will not be able to get funds from either the state or the federal government because they won't have the data available. Is that correct?
It's a large ask of any of our municipalities. We did meet with 4 of their representatives, I believe it was a week ago now, as well as DuPage Water Authority. There is currently allocation from Lake Michigan that could be utilized by our municipalities if it does make sense. That'll be a question that's answered through this process. Our municipalities specifically asked for the county's leadership in this, because it is a big undertaking and it really needs to be looked at on a countywide basis as opposed to an individual municipality to give them the data to move that information forward.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Leonard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Wolnick, I looked over the resolutions. I have no problem with the studies and the evaluations and the things we need. I noticed that the total amount equated on the 4 resolutions to a little over 800,000, but that there is a $103,000 grant we're getting. Is that different from the ARPA money that we're receiving?
I don't know what,
If you read in the resolutions, it states, whereas the county of Kane will receive a total of 103,000, $413.41 from the United States Department of the Treasury. In state and local fiscal recovery funds, we have received half. So they're taking it out of the ARPA. This is all ARPA money. From
Correct,
departmental
correct.
Requests.
correct. Yes,
Okay,
there
good.
will be an additional expense on a partner on the municipal side. Once they receive this data, they will need to work with their own civil engineer to do their water planning on their municipal side, but that was not included in any of the request numbers.
That's great. And I guess the big thing that I wanted to make sure of was this 800 and some thousand will be coming out of the 41.9 million that we are allocating for the departments. Is that correct?
That was.
Yeah,
my-
that is correct.
Good.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, again, this was just one of the department requests that was brought to me as something that could benefit from being fast tracked. And we had already gotten confirmation from Ernst & Young that we can apply it to one of the eligibility category expenditure categories. So that's why this one's coming to you now. Going forward, most of the resolutions coming to this committee, I think, will be those department requests. I'll always state that, and I'll make it very obvious when it's something that's outside of that. Because I think it's very good to have everyone like in front of their mind know where the money is coming from that we're approving based on our spending plan. So, Mr. Kenyon.
Are these all new studies, or are they updating all previous studies?
Mike,
They're-
please.
they're-
Yes, his name is
I'll
Mike.
turn it on. Okay.
The question was, are these new studies or are they updates to existing studies? This is actually building on the work that was done by Paul Shook, the director of our department previously. As the technology advances, the models advance, and we're able to answer more of the questions that we've been asking for many years. And so it really is new modeling, but the new modeling is because of the advancements we've had over the years.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Brown.
Yeah, Brown speaking. Jody, just to the east of Batavia is a wonderful facility called Fermi Lab. And I'm very supportive of Fermi Lab, and I really, I think everybody probably is. But I'm just wondering, do your studies take into consideration, because a large portion of their property is within Kane County. They're split between Kane and DuPage. Do your studies take into consideration that area as well? I know they just got their final approval of $1.3 billion for the next project that's going to be doing a lot of underground type work out there. So,
It does. The water model that is at the state level is a regional model. And then we drill down and make the Kane County model more specific. And so all those boundary conditions from the pumping that's going on outside of Kane County are included in the evaluation.
thank you.
Any other questions before we go to the specific resolutions? Okay, I'd ask for a motion and a second to discuss and potentially pass authorizing the use of state and local fiscal recovery funds pursuant to the American Rescue Plan Act to fund the countywide water monitoring network project for the Kane County Department of Environmental and Water Resources.
Happy
So
minute.
moved.
Brett.
Bates moves.
Bates moves, Tepe seconds. Any discussion on this one? Any questions for Ms. Wolnick? Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Brown,
Brown, yes.
Bras,
Braz, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Strothman,
Strathman, yes.
Tuppy,
Pepe, yes.
and Sanchez.
Sanchez, yes. I need a motion and a second to discuss and potentially pass authorizing the use of state and local fiscal recovery funds pursuant to the American Rescue Plan Act to fund the Kane County Drinking Water Sustainability Mapping Project for the Kane County Department of Environmental and Water Resources.
Martin.
So moved.
Martin moves and Strathman seconds. Any questions for Ms. Wolnick or comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Brown,
Brown, yes.
Bras,
Braz, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Strothman,
Strathman, yes.
Tuppy,
Pepe, yes.
and Sanchez.
Sanchez, yes. Need a motion and a second to discuss and potentially pass authorizing the use of state and local fiscal recovery funds pursuant to the American Rescue Plan Act to fund the Water Conservation Educational Program Project for the Kane County Development of Environmental and Water Resources.
Braz moves.
Braz moves,
Strathman, seconds.
Strathman seconds. Any questions? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Brown,
Brown, yes.
Bras,
Braz, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Strothman,
Strathman, yes.
Tuppy,
Pepe, yes.
and Sanchez.
Sanchez, yes. And I need a motion and a second to discuss potentially pass authorizing the use of state and local fiscal recovery funds pursuant to the American Rescue Plan Act to fund the water quality sampling project for the Kane County Department of Environmental and Water Resources.
Brown
Bates
moves.
moves.
Brown moves, Bates seconds. Any questions or comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Brown,
Brown, yes.
Bras,
Braz, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Strothman,
Strathman, yes.
Tuppy,
Pepe, yes.
and Sanchez.
Sanchez, yes. Okay, resolutions passed. I don't think I've ever seen a committee pass this many resolutions with such impact in such a short period of time. So I'm pretty certain we've created a record here, folks. So thank you for being a part of that. We have no
Mr.
old
Chairman?
business.
I have a question.
Bates, please.
Oh, Bates, go ahead.
I want to thank Ms. Wolnick for such great work, as always. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Jody, for putting all this together. That's going to make a big difference for the county. We have no need, with nothing under old
I have a
business, no
question,
need for
a real
executive session.
question.
You have a Mr. Kenyon has a
A real
question
question.
first.
We're always delaying. these
Yes,
meetings, Ken.
delay. Once we complete this, will there be any opportunity to recover the costs from people that are benefiting, developers, cities, et cetera? Now, we're gonna be I'm not talking against it, but we're doing everybody else's work for free.
Like a recapture. agreement.
Yes.
I think that's a bigger question for the board, and the authority of the board, like the transportation impact fees. There could potentially be a discussion at the board level as to water impact fees. So that's for possibly a
Well,
future
We'll
meeting.
look for your direction.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
But for now, we're utilizing the federal funds made available to us to benefit the whole
What's gonna
county.
benefit the whole county, so
Yeah.
which is pretty cool.
We're adding a lot of value out there. So, all right, Mr. Kenny, did you have something else that you wanted to introduce?
I can't believe it. I'd like to move, we adjourn. Look
Second,
at that, it's still daylight and the horse, we beat the horse to death last.
do we have a
meeting.
second?
Strathman,
sorry.
seconds.
Roll call.
Berman's not on. I was like, wait a minute.
We missed you last night.
All right, we'll give it to Gums this time. All those in favor say aye.